In today's video, I'm going to give you my top 13 tips for first-time cruisers. Hi, I'm Cherie with Cherie by Sea, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you my top 13 tips for first-time cruisers. These are things I wish that I would have known before embarking on my first cruise, and lucky you, I'm going to share them with you today. And please, guys, if you find anything helpful or useful, or you want to hear more about my upcoming cruises, please subscribe, comment, like the video. I have several other cruises scheduled for this year and next year, including my very first solo cruise, which I'm really excited about, but also really nervous about. And I'm gonna document all of that on this channel. So without further ado, let's get into it. Gotta warn you guys that number 1 and number 9 are a little bit controversial, but I'm not one to steer away of controversy if it's the truth for me, you know, and all opinions are subjective. So these are just my opinions on things that I wish I'd have known before going on my first cruise. Number 1, the first controversial tip of the day, and it has to do with packing. Most people will tell you don't overpack for your cruise. And I'm gonna say the opposite, overpack. I'm one of the, and especially if you're a female, if you're a woman, you're gonna wanna wear more than one outfit during the day. If you're having a sea day, you may want to have your swimsuit on to lounge at the pool and the hot tubs, or have a spa day in the thermal suites. Then you may want to change out of your swimsuit and put on some casual clothes to just hang around. And then you may want to dress up a little nicer for dinner, especially since most cruise lines have theme nights. They'll have at least one formal night. If you're on a 7-day sailing, sometimes there are 2 formal nights. And then there's like decade night, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s. And then there may be a tropical night. And you may not want to repeat those dinner outfits. So I'm always going to bring at least double the outfits for the number of days that I have on a cruise. Okay, number 2. Bring seasickness medication. Bring all the things, especially if it's your first cruise and you don't know how you're gonna respond. And there's nothing that can ruin a cruise faster than seasickness that you can't get rid of. So I would suggest bringing a combination of 3 things so that if one doesn't work, you have 2 backups. The sea bands, they worked excellent for me and everybody in my family that I've cruised with, actually. That's all that we really needed. And I don't exactly know how they work. They're these little like stretchy bands with a little, it's like a little bead, a little hard bead or knob that is supposed to sit on the inside of your wrist like and hit a certain acupressure point. And I guess it gives your body equilibrium. I'm not really sure, but they work. The only couple of times that I have felt a little bit of seasickness, I went and got those bands out of my cabin and put them on, and I was good to go. The other 2 things I would recommend that you bring, Dramamine is one, or just, you know, any name brand seasickness medication. And then if you want to opt for something milder that doesn't have any you know, active ingredients in it, are like ginger chews. And you can get these anywhere. You can get them at Walgreens, Walmart, CVS, just any local pharmacy or big chain store like Walmart or Target. It'll save you a lot of heartache and stomach ache and headache if you have these things available just in case. Number 3, as soon as you book your cruise, download the cruise app. You can just do so many things on this app. You know, you can do your online check-in there. Some cruises, the muster drill that you have to complete before the ship can leave, you can watch the videos and answer the health questions right there on your app. so that you don't have to, take a lot of extra time when you get on the ship trying to figure out what to do. Usually you can just watch the video, complete the questionnaire right there from the app. And then once you get on the ship, all you have to do is go to your muster station and check in, and you're done. And you can get on with enjoying your vacation. You can also get the schedule as soon as it's uploaded onto your app, and you can check that every day and kind of check off all the things that you want to attend, and it'll give you reminders, and you can see what you've scheduled for each day right there on your app in case you forget that something was going on, just to keep you from missing out on anything. You can also see like cruise specials right there on the app before embarkation day. So you can book shows and restaurants a lot of times from the app. And if they do make it available to book shows and dining reservations on the app and you wait until you get on the ship, you might just be out of luck, especially if it's a packed sailing. So I would definitely recommend getting the app. There are a lot of questions that can be answered. Your daily bill charges will show up on the app so you can check and see how much you've spent each day. So you definitely want to have the app of whatever cruise you're going on. Number 4. You're gonna wanna join the Facebook group for your particular cruise. And you can do that just by searching the dates and the name of your ship. And there's almost always gonna be a Facebook group for your cruise. And generally the people who start these Facebook groups are seasoned, very well seasoned and experienced cruisers, and they are a wealth of information, as are all the other people that are going to join the group. You can make friends before you even get on board. You can learn about privately hosted events. Like a lot of times people will want to get together to play board games or card games. They will organize bar crawls or like casino events, like slot tournaments that everybody can show up, and they'll tell you all the rules to that, and they can answer tons and tons and tons of questions all along your cruise. There's been a lot of times where maybe people have forgotten to bring something on the cruise, like feminine products or whatever it may be, and they can just put a little message in the Facebook group, hey guys, I forgot to bring such and such. Does anybody happen to have extra? Then you can meet up and get what you need. You can just find out all kinds of information, make new friends, go to different events. I would just highly recommend joining that Facebook group. Plus, it helps like with the excitement that you have, like it extends the vacation, right? It extends that vacation joy that I get anyways. And it may do the same for you. Number 5, as soon as you get on the ship, I would suggest after you check in at your muster station and maybe grab your first drink, is to walk around the ship and explore. Like get the lay of the land. Because sometimes, and I found this on one of the ships that I was on recently, there will be things that aren't necessarily on the deck plan. Like I found a hidden hot tub on Harmony of the Seas that wasn't on the deck plan. And you can find areas that other people may not know about, or you can find a spot that you really want to hang out in. You can be like, oh, I really love this area. Let me make sure I get here early, tomorrow or on our first sea day so I can get a spot here because I like the way this looks or I like the way this feels. You can often find kind of hidden and secret places to just hang out in private. Like recently I was on the MSC Seascape and I found the cabaret lounge during the day was empty, and it was huge, and there were all these plush seating areas and lounge areas where you could see the ocean, and it was completely empty during the day, guys. I mean, the time I walked through there to like video for a ship tour, there were a couple of cleaning people in there, and other than that, it was empty. And I really wish that I had known about that earlier, because I would have took my Kindle and just went in there and enjoyed a book just to get away and have a little R&R time alone. Number 6, Participate in all the activities, guys. Okay, not all the activities, but at least show up and check out, what the activity entails, especially if it's your first cruise, because you don't know what you're gonna like and what you're gonna enjoy. And you can't always tell just by, the name or title of the event, what it's really gonna entail. Like the game shows. The first time I went on a cruise, when they said they were going to have game shows, like one of them was Battle of the Sexes, I didn't have any idea what that was. It was the most fun I had on that short 4-day cruise. I laughed so hard. I laughed harder at that game show than I did at the comedy show. And there are things like a flash mob dance that I showed up for one time. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do that, but turns out it was a ton of fun. And the people that I was with participated too. And we had like 3 days of practice, like in the middle of the ship. And then on the last day, we performed this flash mob. Tons of fun. There's line dancing classes, and you don't even have to participate. You can just show up and kind of see what's going on, check out the scene and the vibe, and then determine if you want to. Those were some of the most fun times that I had, going to trivia, dance classes, and the flash mob dance, and karaoke. You must go to karaoke. And generally, depending on what cruise line you're on, sometimes the karaoke venues are really small and they fill up really fast. So if you want to check out karaoke, I would suggest going a bit early, because you can just grab a drink and hang out and talk to whoever you're with, or just enjoy a drink and a book until you wait on karaoke time. And karaoke is just fun to watch. It's always a riot. So just don't be afraid to participate in the events. Number 7, the drink package. This is another one that's kind of semi-controversial, because a lot of people will encourage you to get the drink package just no matter what, just right off the bat. Get the drink package, they say. It'll save you money. Well, honestly, every time I've done the math, it has not been a good value. So I would say that my number 7 tip is, before you get the drink package, do the math. And remember that you have port days where you won't be on the ship for the majority of the day. And sometimes, just to break even on the drink package, you have to drink depends on what ship you're on now, right? But you'll have to drink between 12 and 15 drinks a day just to break even. Are you really gonna drink 12 drinks when you're in port from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock? When would you even have time to do that? And plus, the gratuities for all of that is automatically built in too. So you can't get a refund if you don't drink that many drinks. Plus, for every person that's in your cabin, if you get a drink package, they have to get a drink package. If they're over 21, so it's you and your spouse, or you and whoever, if they're over 21, if you get one, they have to get one. If you have a minor with you, they have to get the non-alcoholic drink package. And I would imagine this is so that you can't go order a Coke and just give it to your kid and you're only paying for one drink package. They don't want to miss out on that money. And in fact, on Royal Caribbean, I did have a drink package there once, but that's because I won that cruise and it was included. And they made us wait 5 minutes between drink orders. So that's kind of hard to do if you were going to try to cheat the system and you had 4 people with you, and it'd take 20 minutes for everybody just to get one drink, from whatever bar or drink station you were at. So I would just say, do the math. I have never drank that much. I may have 1 or 2 days, especially that first day, I will drink some drinks on the first day. But on my port days, generally, I drink hardly anything at all. Maybe a drink with dinner. Maybe if there's a dance party going on, I'll have 2 or 3 extra drinks. Maybe my son will have, a drink at dinner, maybe an extra soda or Gatorade or something if he's playing basketball, and we like to have a specialty coffee, but that's only like that's a maximum of 5 or 6 drinks in a day. I've just never found it beneficial to get a drink package. So that's tip number 7. Do the math. Tip number 8, and this one also has to do with your money and spending aboard a cruise ship. Go to guest services if you have a child with you and set a spending limit on their SeaPass card. Your SeaPass card is like your credit card or your debit card. You have to attach like a payment method to your card, and the kid can go and get all of his drinks or, extra food or whatever they want on the ship, and they just use that SeaPass card, and it's got your credit or debit card attached to it. And if you don't have a spending limit set on there, as we found out the hard way, you can rack up a lot of charges. And this wasn't intentional on my son's part. He really didn't realize how much money he was spending, but he took his SeaPass card into the game room on an MSC ship. And luckily, a staff member noticed how many tickets he had accrued and came up and asked him what his room number was, and he checked to see how much money he had spent in the game room that day, and he told him he needed to go to his cabin or find his mom and dad and let them know how much he had spent. And he was just devastated. He was like, "Mom, I did not know I'd spent that much." It was over $200 that he spent in a day. And I didn't find out until afterwards that I could set a limit. So it's always just a good safety precaution. I don't want to limit my child in being able to go grab a drink if he's thirsty or wants something to drink, because he spends a lot of time like at the teen club and hanging out with other kids during the day. But I also don't want to be surprised and have my trip or my mood potentially ruined by unexpected charges on our account. Number 9, and this is one that has been quite controversial among cruise goers, and it's about tips. Every cruise line is going to charge you a per diem for tips, and it's per person per day. And it's generally somewhere between $18 and $20 per person per day. You have the option of prepaying these a lot of times when you book your cruise, and a lot of people opt to do that. And also, if you don't get a drink package or a dining package, but you choose to partake in a specialty restaurant or, order anything that's not included in your cruise fare, every drink that you order, for instance, even if it's just a Coke or a coffee, will automatically have that 20 or so % added in to the price of whatever you buy. So you will be charged your upfront gratuity amount per day, and then everything extra that you buy will have a gratuity added to it as well. So I just want you to be aware of that before you get that little ticket and it has a space. A lot of times you'll get a drink and it'll have a space for a tip. And some people may not realize, they already charged you for a tip for that drink. And the controversy lies in you have the option to have that removed from your bill, or to go to guest services and say, I don't want to pay, this gratuity amount. I would rather tip on my own, and you can do that. And a lot of people will say that it's kind of a crappy move to have that removed. I do not agree with that, because number one, I'm paying for my cruise. It's not my responsibility to supplement the pay of the cruise ship workers. That's something the cruise line should be doing. I'm sure that they are making plenty of money, and if they are not paying their employees enough, that should not be passed on to me. I like to tip. I've worked as wait staff and I've cleaned hotel rooms, and I am a good tipper. If I get good service, you're getting an excellent tip. But I like to tip the people who are serving me and impacting my experience directly. You know, number one, I like to go find me a good bartender at the beginning of the cruise and tip them well so that they can take care of me for the rest of the cruise, and then I'll tip them again at the end if they did an exceptional job and met my needs. I also love to tip well whoever my server is in the main dining room if I enjoyed them, and I always do. Cruise ships generally have excellent service, and I really like to tip, you know, personally my wait staff in the MDR that I see every single day of my cruise and I get to know, as well as my room attendant. And a lot of people may not be able to afford to pay those kind of general tips to everybody that are spread out, and tip the people who actually, you know, made their cruise better and gave them personalized service on the ship. But I don't think that it's fair to shame people for not being able to do both. I do encourage you to, you know, tip for good service, but you do have the option to tip at your discretion and not the cruise ship's discretion. I know that that's controversial. You can tell me in the comments how you feel about it, but I just don't feel like it's my job to have to supplement people's pay for a large corporation. A tip is a tip. A gratuity is a way that you give thanks. And I would like to do that to the people who made a difference in my experience. Number 10, and this is a big one that I could probably devote, and maybe I will, devote a whole video to, but it's about ports and excursions. Do your research. Before you book an excursion through the cruise line, you need to be checking on several things. Number one, read reviews that aren't just on the cruise website. Go to like TripAdvisor and read reviews about that particular excursion, because I don't think that the cruise lines really vet the people that do these excursions, because I've heard some horror stories. One advantage of booking with the cruise line for your excursion is that you won't get left behind if you don't get back from your excursion on time. They guarantee that they will wait for you. If you book privately on your own, there is no such guarantee. And there are other websites that you can use to book excursions, like Get Your Guide or Viator, or you can do what I usually do, and I just kind of do my own thing. I will hire a private driver, but I do a lot of research and I read all the reviews. But if you hire a driver and you know exactly where you want to go, this can be a really great value and a much more personal and catered to you experience. I've had great luck hiring drivers. So do your research before you book your excursion. Number 11. If you choose to use a credit card, make sure that you check and see if your credit card charges foreign transaction fees. Most travel credit cards do not charge this fee. Also, you want to make sure that if you pay with the credit card and they give you the option to pay in US dollars, if you're from the US, your home currency or their currency, always choose their currency, because most of the time they're gonna give you a really bad currency conversion rate. Your credit card is always gonna give you a better rate. So just choose to pay in their currency and you'll save yourself some money. My favorite credit card to use for travel, hands down across the board, is the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. And I know you've probably heard people talking about this card. If you don't have it and you travel at least once a year, I highly recommend that you run out and go get it. I'll leave a link in the description for this card because I can get a referral bonus. I think you can get like 6 a year, and it would be great to get those extra bonus points. Right now, they are running a bonus where you get 60,000 bonus points for spending, I think it's $4,000 in the first 3 months. So if you haven't booked your cruise yet, you could apply for that card and use the card to book your cruise in there. You're probably over halfway to meeting the spending requirement, and by the time you get home from vacation, you may be all the way there. And those 60,000 points are worth $600. And they're worth $750 if you use them towards booking travel through the Chase app. It is a really good value. It has saved me tons and tons of money over the last few years just using my points. So like I said, if you're interested in getting this card, I will leave a link in the description. Number 12, bring cash for the ports. A lot of times, especially if you're DIYing your port and you're not going on a group excursion, we've rented golf carts, scooters, hired our own private drivers, gotten a taxi just for a ride to one specific destination, and all of these people wanted cash. So just have cash on hand to make it easier for yourself. Try to find out about how much the things that you want to do are going to cost, and just make sure you have enough cash to cover those major expenses. It's just always a good idea to have cash. And that brings me to my final tip, number 13. Download Google Translate. If you're going to a country where English is not the first language, I'm assuming that you speak English. If you're going to a country where their language is not your first language, it would be nice to be able to communicate. If you get a driver who does not speak your language, or if you have someone serving you or a vendor that does not speak your language, it's very easy to pop up your phone, talk into Google Translate, and have it spit back the phrase to the person in their native language, and vice versa. I found this very helpful at several different ports that I've visited with our personal driver. So that's it, guys. I could probably give you 50 more tips, but those are my top 13 tips for first-time cruisers. Let me know if you've been on a bunch of cruises before and you have others that you think I should have added that I left out. Let me know in the comments. And like I said, guys, if you found anything of value in this video, please subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. Till next time, guys.